The Galactic Council chamber fell silent when Gull walked in with the creature perched on her shoulder. It wasn't the bioluminescent, ferret-like animal that shocked the assembled representatives of 47 species. It was what she called it. "Come on, Azrathek," she cooed, scratching behind its translucent ears. "Don't be shy." Ambassador Velkoth of the Zenthari Collective felt his 3 hearts stop. Around the circular chamber, similar reactions rippled through the crowd. The Myrene delegates' chromatophores flashed distress patterns. The silicon-based Kree observer actually cracked, a hairline fracture appearing down its crystalline torso. Jack, Gull's research partner, noticed the reaction immediately. He'd worked with her long enough to recognize when humanity had accidentally stepped on another cultural landmine. "Gull," he whispered urgently, "I think something's wrong." "What do you mean?" She looked around at the sea of alien faces, all frozen in various expressions of horror, reverence, or shock. "Oh no, did I break another protocol? I swear I read the brief this time." Velkoth rose slowly, his ceremonial robes rustling like dried leaves. When he spoke, his translator rendered his words in a tone of profound gravity. "Human Gull, that word you spoke. Where did you learn it? Azrathek?" Gull shrugged, stroking her pet's glowing fur. "I found it in an old database at the archaeological site on Kepler 442b. I'm a xenolinguist, so I've been studying the extinct languages from the progenitor wars. Why? Is it offensive? I can change it. Offensive?" The Myrene delegate's voice was barely a whisper. "Child, that is not just a word. That is the war tongue, the language of the eternal conflict." Jack stepped forward, his diplomatic training kicking in. Perhaps someone could explain. Gull's specialty is dead languages. She didn't mean any disrespect. Velkoth's mandibles clicked in what might have been bitter amusement. "Dead languages, yes. That is precisely what it should be." He gestured to the massive holographic display at the chamber's center. Ancient symbols appeared, harsh and angular, seeming to cut the very air. 12,000 years ago, the galaxy was consumed by the progenitor wars. Civilizations that had mastered technologies we still cannot comprehend tore reality itself apart in their conflict. The war tongue was their language of command, of power, of destruction. Every word was engineered to carry intent, to shape matter and energy at a fundamental level. The hologram shifted, showing images of scarred worlds and shattered moons. When the wars finally ended, when the progenitors had destroyed themselves utterly, the survivors made a pact. The war tongue would be buried with the dead. Speaking it was forbidden across all of known space. Those symbols you see are found only in war graves, warnings to never resurrect what should remain dead. Gull's face had gone pale, but Jack could see the wheels turning behind her eyes. "Wait," she said. "If it's been forbidden for 12,000 years, how do you all understand it? How do your translators even work on it?" The chamber stirred uncomfortably. It was the Kree observer who answered, its voice like grinding stones. "We do not understand it, human. We recognize it. It is burned into our genetic memory, our cultural consciousness, our very molecular structure. Some traumas run too deep to forget." "But I've been studying it for 6 months," Gull protested. "I've translated hundreds of inscriptions. I've even been speaking simple phrases." She paused, realization dawning. "That's why the local workers kept quitting. That's why the automated systems kept malfunctioning around me." Jack felt a chill. "Gull, what exactly have you been saying?" She pulled out her data tablet, scrolling through notes. "Just basic stuff. Azrathek means small swift hunter. I thought it was perfect for my pet. And there was this phrase I liked, Kelshamar, which I think means hope in darkness or something similar. I've been using it as a greeting." Velkoth made a sound like wind through a graveyard. Kelshamar was not a greeting, human. It was a battle cry. It was what the Zenith commander spoke before deploying weapons that could extinguish stars. "You have been greeting everyone with Initiate Final Protocol." The silence that followed was absolute. Then impossibly Gull laughed. Not a nervous laugh, but genuine amusement. "You're telling me that for 12,000 years an entire galaxy has been terrified of a language, has forbidden its study, has treated it as a curse, and nobody thought to actually figure out what it meant? You've been running from shadows." "Careful, human," the Myrene delegate warned. "This is not a matter for jest, but it is," Gull insisted, her excitement growing. Jack recognized that look. It was the same expression she got when unraveling a particularly complex linguistic puzzle. Don't you see? By forbidding the language, you've given it power it doesn't inherently have. Yes, the progenitors used it for war, but language is just a tool. The war tongue wasn't evil. The progenitors were. She held up Azrathek, who chirped happily. This little guy doesn't care that his name once meant something terrible. He just knows I love him. And Kel Shamar? Maybe it was a battle cry once, but it can also mean exactly what I thought. Hope in darkness. The hope that survival brings. The hope that comes after war. Jack watched as the concept rippled through the chamber. He could see it in their faces. The cognitive dissonance of 12 millennia of taboo colliding with simple human pragmatism. Humans, Velkoth finally said, and there might have been respect in his tone, are either the bravest or most foolish species in the galaxy. Usually both, Jack admitted with a grin. Gull smiled, speaking clearly in the war tongue, her words carrying through the translators. Then let this be the day the language of death becomes the language of life. Kel Shamar. In the end, the council didn't sanction her. Instead, they did something unprecedented. They asked her to teach them. To reclaim what had been lost. To prove that even the darkest parts of history could be transformed by those brave enough to face them without fear. Because that was the human way. They didn't run from ghosts. They befriended them, named their pets after them, and invited them to dinner. After all, that's what made humanity so terrifyingly wonderful.